Quote, I have a prescription for Adderall. This was the defendant's drug. Quote, I never told a single responsible adult the information that could have saved Jason's life. That makes this the defendant's crime. Your Honor, we're here tonight because a young man, a high school senior, is dead. Jason Johnson died because this defendant gave him the drugs that killed him. Now, in order for the people to effectively prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt, we have to prove the following 4 elements beyond a reasonable doubt. Element 1, that Ray Concha intentionally sold or gave Jason Johnson Adderall. Element 2, that this drug was dangerous to human life. Element 3, that this defendant knew giving Jason Johnson Adderall would be a particularly dangerous action. And element 4, that Ray Concha sold that drug anyway, consciously disregarding the value of Jason Johnson's life. Let's walk through these elements one by one. First, there is no doubt that this defendant intentionally sold or gave Jason Johnson Adderall. We know Ray Concha was willing to sell drugs because she offered some to Officer Robin Doherty. We know Ray Concha knew about Jason's heart defect because she had admitted it to Alex Weaver. And most of all, we know that on the morning Jason Johnson died, the defendant was seen in the school's parking lot, shaking hands with Jason and passing over pills. Moments later, Jason Johnson is on the ground, struggling to stay alive, and the defendant is marched out to the car. And what does this defendant have to say for herself? Oh, no. Not, oh no, my friend is dying because I gave them drugs. This defendant only says, oh no, when she sees the evidence of her guilt staring her in the face. And what is found in Ray Concha's car? Ziploc baggies with 20 milligram tabs of Adderall, a roll of money, and a pays and nose ledger. Now, we've all heard about someone planting the Adderall and the money inside the defendant's car. But that doesn't make any sense because a month before this, Officer Robin Doherty found the exact same items in the defendant's car. Your Honor, the only reasonable explanation for this is that this defendant sold drugs, and this defendant only planned on selling even more. Second, there is no doubt that Adderall was dangerous to human life. Both Doctors Burke and Sanchez testified that this amphetamine played a role in Jason Johnson's death. Whether or not alcohol was a factor bears no weight in this case. It is not the people's burden to prove that Adderall was the sole cause of Jason Johnson's death, only that Adderall was dangerous. There is no doubt that this deadly drug is at the least dangerous. Third, this defendant knew that Adderall would be a particularly dangerous drug to Jason Johnson. We've heard how Jason Johnson collapsed in the middle of a concert after being on Adderall. And the defendant has admitted that Jason Johnson confided in her about his heart defect. So did the supposedly responsible peer counselor make sure that her friend's life wouldn't be in danger? Did the supposedly responsible peer counselor, Ray Concha, tell a responsible adult the information that could have saved her friend's life? No. This defendant said nothing because the defendant didn't want to be linked to the drug that killed Jason Johnson. Finally, the defendant demonstrated a conscious disregard for the value of Jason Johnson's life. When knowing the effects of drugs from her job as a peer counselor, knowing that Jason Johnson had collapsed before, and knowing that Jason Johnson had a particularly dangerous heart defect, this defendant kept right on selling drugs anyway, resulting in the senseless and tragic death of Jason Johnson. As to count 2, Ray Concha is charged with possession of a controlled substance, Adderall, with intent to sell. And People's Exhibit B shows that the defendant was found with a roll of money in small denominations, baggies filled with Adderall, and a backpack. Now, when the defense presents their closing argument, I expect they'll point some fingers at the road. They're going to try and blame this whole thing on Alex Weaver. But before they do, Your Honor, keep this in mind. For the defense's argument to make one grain of sense, Alex Weaver would need access to Adderall. But Alex Weaver wasn't found with a roll of money in his car. Alex Weaver wasn't found on 2 separate occasions shopping for baggies, and Alex Weaver was not even at Rosewood High School when this drug claimed Sandra Medina's life as well. All we have is the defendant's word, a defendant that has everything to lose and every reason to lie. Your Honor, to call this defense's reasonable doubt is asking you to doubt your reason. Your Honor, we the people have met our burden. Find Ray Concha guilty as to both counts 1 and 2. Thank you. It's an unfortunate fact that Jason Johnson is dead. But that doesn't take away from the facts. The facts that the defense's case is clouded with doubts, riddled with reasonable doubt, and filled with flaws. Bias aside, suspicions aside, the defense forgets that there's something much bigger that their case lacks. Reason. Who was found with money and drugs in their car on 2 separate occasions? Who has unlimited access to Adderall? Who sits accused today with every reason to lie? None other than the defendant, Ray Concha. Find her guilty as to both counts 1 and 2. Thank you.